Good evening. It's 18:03, and we'll start the town board work session for Wednesday, May 6th, 2020. First, we'll begin with the department manager's discussion. I have one thing this evening regarding, I hope I have it here. Yeah, I do. Good. Like the garbage contract. We're in discussions now to extend or get a new or renew the contract or whatever. Our current contract expires on December 31st of this year. It was a 5-year contract. And it was brought up that some people may be interested in doing what Alma and Hamburg do, and they have the residents contract out themselves. Instead of the town signing a contract with one of the two that are left major waste management services in the area, Modern or Waste Management, Alma and Hamburg have their residents contract directly with the waste management company. The town's not involved at all, and they have different choices that they can select and that match their needs. And one of our employees lives in Alma, so she was able to tell me what her contract's like, because it's been brought up. Why don't we in Orchard Park, and this is on the table, why don't we not sign a contract with a waste management company like we've always done in the past? Why don't we do what Alma and Hamburg do and have residents deal directly with a waste management company? And I think our fee on the tax bill now is around $255. It goes up a little bit every year because the increase in the number of homes in town. So it's in the contract with Waste Management that they get to charge a bit more for each home, which is only reasonable. They have more homes to collect trash from. Their cost goes up a bit. So we're up to about $255 in a tax bill now. Does anybody know the exact number? No one. Okay. In Alma, our one employee pays over $500 a year. Over $400 a year, so that's about $150 more than we pay now. So it will cost more. She only gets one 95-gallon garbage tote, which is a pretty big one. We have a 65-gallon recycling tote in Orchard Park currently. So she gets a 95-gallon garbage tote, and she gets an 18-gallon blue bin like we used to have in the old days for recycling, where she said, quote, if it's windy, everything blows all over the neighborhood, unquote. But we know that from past experiences. Before we had this contract, we had the old blue bins. And I can agree with her. There was always, on a windy day, garbage blown all over. Now, the big ones don't tip over very often that I'm aware of, unless we have real high winds, the totes. But they don't have any bulk pickup. We have currently one item a week can be picked up. You can put by the road a bulk item, like a mattress or something. In Alma, under their contract that she has to take any bulk items, load them in a truck or on a trailer or whatever, and drop it off over at the town hall. So for $400, for about $150 more, she gets a garbage tote, but she doesn't get a recycling tote. She has the old bin, and any items of bulk pickup have to be taken over to the town hall. So I know Connor and I have both had residents ask us if we could look into going in that direction. And I just wanted to make it public now that it is on the table. Of course, it will be, because we're just beginning to discuss this. We still have 7 months left under the current contract, but that's part of what they have with that. When you deal directly, expensive and you do get a garbage tote, but you don't get a recycling tote. You get the little bin, and you have to take your bulk over to the. They have to take it over to the town hall. I just wanted to make that.
I would assume that as far as the town goes, that would be an all or nothing approach. I can't imagine that Waste Management would want 1,000 homes to contract individually and then have to come through the town to do the rest of the town. So is it safe to assume that that's an all or nothing situation?
Nope. You can contract with either company.
No. What I'm saying is if you contract with either company, okay, the whole
resident,
town
not
is
the
doing
town.
what's that?
It's not the town. The resident contracts with the company, their choice.
I understand. What I'm saying is every resident in that town contracts with someone to pick up their garbage. So it's not 1,000 homes are individual contracts and the rest of the community is a town or village-wide contract. So it's an all or nothing, correct?
That's right. It's all, and you don't have to contract with either if you want to take your waste over to the town hall and get rid of it there.
Well, I don't know the demographics of Alma, but I certainly know that we have a fair amount of senior citizens. That's why we built one of the reasons why we built the senior center and the activity center. I can't imagine people on fixed incomes are going to want their trash collection to go up more than 50%.
Yeah, I can't either, but it's an option that we just I think we have to put it on the table.
I understand. I'm just throwing that out there because you may hear from more of the people that want to do it, and unfortunately the ones that don't want to do it, you may not hear from them until afterwards, and then it's too late.
Correct. I got it. Connor, you want to say anything?
No, I think you stated it well. But several residents have sent messages to me and approached me, and well, not approached me because we're social distance, but asking about private garbage collection. And I think Pat stated it well, and correct me if I'm wrong. There's a benefit to be had in terms of cost reduction from collecting. But I mean, we'll still look at everything. But the way that we've been doing it is actually probably what's been best for the taxpayers and residents.
It reduces the cost.
Right.
Yeah, probably also,
Wayne Beeler.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of issues with dumping. Like we've had issues before with people dumping stuff. They suddenly quit picking up TVs in our rural land areas. In some of our subdivisions we find TVs laying all over the place. So and if you go out like in the country where my cabin is, people that don't have garbage pickup, they tend to dump in areas where they shouldn't be dumping.
Okay, so
Say, Pat, has there been any thought about looking at getting Alma down as shared service contracts where you have two towns bidding?
Good point, Remy.
No, that's good, Ramey. I'll make a note of that.
I mean, it might yield some savings.
Maybe Hamburg too.
I was just about to say Hamburg's doing it the same way too. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're both doing it that way. Maybe we could get it's a good way. Yep, we'll look into that. Great idea.
And also, Pat, I talked to Roberta today, and some of Republic's company was purchased, but not all of it. So she doesn't know, and she's going to check into it. She doesn't know if Republic is still doing the collection services for municipalities, or if that part of their company was purchased. And she had a lot of good things to say about Republic. Not that Waste Management has any issues there, but she seemed to think that Republic was a little bit more flexible on the rules of the contract during the course of the year than anybody else that she had experienced.
Yeah, Republic still does our dumpsters. They still empty our dumpsters. Okay. I don't know if you guys were aware.
So if we have to go out for a rebid, there might be 3 players instead of 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we looked. That's what they were the last time, all 3. So we'll see. I'm sure we're going to look into that then. Good. We done with that then? We good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. Chief, anything this evening?
Good evening. Just a couple things. We've been getting a lot of calls on the on people using the Erie August trail system. They continue to come in, trying to discourage people from actually using the trail. We had that thread that went around about possibly fencing off the access at the town points. We should probably at least look at doing that to try to help limit. I get a sneaking suspicion a lot of these people are just entering through their backyards. And then all these executive orders from the governor, especially masks out in public. Just be advised that we cannot enforce that law. The governor's trying to have all the towns and villages create their own ordinance, and I see that as problematic. I mean, John can chime in on that, but yep, I get a feeling there's a constitutionality issue, and we certainly don't want to take on the fight of a constitutional fight. That should be the state, not the local towns, in my opinion.
And you can't, you don't have enough policemen to enforce it.
And that's true too.
I was told that the governor does want our police, our local police, to break up groups that are congregating in more than whatever the rule is now, 5 or 10. What is it? Is it 10 now or 5? It's down to 5?
As far as I know, it's 10, and we will if it's in a public area. And even if somebody's yard, we ask them to break up. But we certainly can't go into somebody's house. We suspect they have more than 10 people in there. But we will certainly do that. But as far as actually charging somebody with especially the mask law, we can't.
Okay.
And that's about all I got for tonight.
Okay, Wayne. Thanks, Chief.
How you doing? We're in the process of researching the Berg Road property. We have an issue there with what we own and what we don't own. That pump station is apparently not on town property, but we're still researching that part of it. So as soon as we get that, we'll resolve, or we'll be. I did copy the board on a letter that I sent out to the resident to start to work with him a little bit to see if we got to purchase some of that property. That seems to be where we're going to have to go. But it's not valuable property, I don't think, to him, so I don't think it should be a problem, but knock on wood, we'll see. We did get a renewal from the DEC regarding the compost center for the permit for that, for basically the mining permit, which we want to keep going with as well. That's how we get rid of some of our nastier stuff, stumps and that we don't want to grind. We knew that permit. Whenever we're getting stuff forwarded to us from the standpoint of complaints, if you could include the contact information of that person so we can sometimes get a better picture of what's going on and also make sure that we haven't addressed that complaint, that would be appreciated. On the agenda, number 4, Telco's change order does need to be canceled, or it should be not canceled, but tabled. Telco was not able to get all their subcontractors' number in for their various work that they're doing. It's not a lot of dollar value work-wise, but the subs needed to get their numbers in, and they didn't get them in time. Cameraing-wise, we are continuing the camera. They are now they're back out every week now with the camera. They did find a really bad section on North Benzing Road. As soon as we get to $100,000 worth of work for the county contract, we're going to try to piggyback on that contract. We are funded to move ahead. The board did put that in the last bond act of $2 million to start to work away at that. But we do have one section that's really bad. So it's about $32 a foot is what the cost of camera or of relining is. So basically you need about 8 sections of bad pipe area to make it worthwhile to start to initiate that contract. And,
okay, but Wayne, one thing,
yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, we have one section that's bad, but we only checked one section.
They're actually back there. They were back there this week. I did not get a report yet from them, but I do a full report. But I do know the next 2 sections they did were okay.
Okay, but I'm talking about what we originally found was when we did the first section, that was a bad section.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we were 1 for 1. I don't want to mislead people that, oh yeah, we checked a couple dozen and we got one bad one. No, we were 1 for 1, and if you got a couple in there that are okay, it's still 33% of what we've checked.
Oh yeah, we're anticipating we're going to find some bad areas. I mean, it's
Well, I'm sure you're going to.
yeah. And then the agenda stuff. If anybody has any questions regarding anything that we have on the agenda, we do have quite a few items on the agenda.
Well, Wayne, I have two questions for you. Did you forget something that happened this morning to tell everybody?
Oh yeah, we did. I did.
Oh yeah.
We had a webinar this morning with Key and Tone Line regarding the Brush Mountain Busendorfer drainage crossing, and that seems to be now being able to move forward. So we're going to be able to complete that design and also start to do the wetland permit applications. So hopefully, knock on wood, everything moves forward with that as well.
On item number 3, old business, you're talking about Javen.
Mm-hmm.
If you go down to the bottom of your letter dated today, it says 15 change orders for the project resulted in an increase of $653,121.87.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at the totals for alternates awarded, other change orders for the scope, that encompasses the 15. Is that the 15 change orders? Okay, because you got CO after all of those. Okay,
Yeah.
so if you total up 1, 2, and 7, you've got 533,000. And if you total up 3 through 15 minus 7, because that's up top, that's 208,000 and change. And that comes up to 741,000 and change, not 653 and change. So what is the number?
It's a 2 totaled up with the alternates and the change orders totaled. But some of them were a negative too. So that should have added up right. But let me go grab the letter really quick. I do have it in my briefcase, but I don't have it right in front of me now. And then I'll get back to you with it.
All right, but if I quickly scan what you have on here,
Mm-hmm.
I don't see a minus sign or anything like that. That it's a negative to indicate that it is.
Okay, I will look at that. All right, I'd have to look at. Let me look at it real quick, and I'll get back to you.
Because I want to make sure if we get into passing this, I want to make sure that we got the right numbers.
Yeah. Well,
Come on, Wayne.
Yeah, the
9 is a minus 285,860.89. Credits for surplus items and additional scope. He's got CO number 9. That is a minus, Gene. It's hard to see, but if you look right before the dollar sign, there's a minus 285,860.89.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I did the same exercise today, and I was wondering, and then I saw that.
Okay, but then it still doesn't add up then.
It should. Let me check it, and I'll get back to you on it. The dollar amount that we're releasing is the retainage, nothing to do with the change orders. Okay.
I'm not talking about releasing. I'm reading the sentence.
Okay.
15 change orders for the project result into an increase of $653,121.87. Okay, so if I take these numbers, they add up to 741. If I subtract the 285, that's less than your 653. So the numbers do not add up.
All right, let me go grab it. It's in my briefcase. I just didn't bring it in, so let me go grab it, and I'll come back on with it. Just let me look at it. Okay.
We good then, Gene? And he'll come back to that. Anything else?
We'll come back to that when it's my turn. When it's my turn, I got one other thing.
Okay. Anybody else have anything for Wayne right now? Okay, Fred.
Nope.
Fred, are you on? I don't see his name on the screen. I texted him and told him it was 6:30 about 5 minutes ago, or at 6 o'clock start. Maybe he thinks it's 6:30 again. I have no idea. He was in my office today, and I said, "You're all set. You have the number here. I'll give it to you like I did last time." And he said, No, I have it. I'm all set. So Fred hasn't joined yet. Maybe the last time was 6:30. Maybe he thinks it's 6:30 again. So if he joins in, we'll put him on later. So we'll move on to Ramey.
Okay. On the agenda is a proposed code change for peddlers, food trucks, et cetera, et cetera. So we didn't, given the limited staff in there, we didn't have a chance to get the resolution entirely done up. I put a sheet in your packets when you get around to that, but basically Friday that will be posted. I'm going to ask Paul if he would post that on the website so that people who are interested can take a look at. But it was just a little bit of a time crunch. But we still have people still have over a week and a half to take a look at. That's the first step. If you approve that in 2 weeks at the meeting, then that will go into effect. But we still need the board the board needs to make a decision about if they're going to allow food trucks or not while we're under the state of emergency.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else, Ramey?
That would be it. I think that's big enough.
Ramey,
Yeah.
let me ask you whether or not you received the body of the local law from my office today.
Yes, I did.
Okay, so we're good there.
Yeah, and there's a couple, well, as you mentioned in the email, there's a couple of things we have to tweak, and we'll get that on Friday for public viewing.
Perfect.
Good. All set with Ramey? Thanks, Ramey.
Okay.
Hey, Pat, I'm in. I apologize. I was dialing the access code for the board, and I didn't have the work, so but I'm in.
Okay, good. I'm glad you're on, Fred. So I guess you're up then. Gene, will hold with you for a second and get back in order and let Fred go. Good evening, Fred.
Sure. Okay, so basically, we went back to full crew on this coming Monday. It was 5-4. We're out with 2 road sweeper crews each day. We're fixing up some plow damage repairs, getting a little drainage. We're finishing up a little overlap on the brush, and we will finish up this week with a couple leaf trucks out, especially in 5, to get that cleaned up. And the brush contractor started on the 1st. He's moving along. I've got to get up into 5 to take a look at some stuff, but it seems to be moving along pretty good.
Is that it?
Yep.
I called the brush contractor today. Actually, he texted me, and 4 days in, he said it's a little overwhelming with all the brush that's up in Eagle Heights. And one person that he talked to, because she came out, why aren't you taking everything? And the lady asked him why. And he said, well, what did you cut? You've got a forest here. And she said 4 ash trees. She cut down. The contractor that she hired put it all by the road. And I told
some big piles.
We take the ends and the limbs and things, but we don't take the big trunks of the trees. And I drove up there to see what he meant. And the contractor that she hired put all of it by the road, the trunks and everything. So you may want to contact him and go up and look and explain to the person, like he did. He didn't seem very pleased that they weren't taking the whole tree. And then another thing I'm seeing, and he's seeing, and anybody listening to this, and maybe we should put it on a banner on the website or something. People, again, are, not all, but enough, are mixing the brush in with the leaves. They put it all in one pile, and they're supposed to have it separated. And he had a question about taking that. He's not picking those up. He thought your leaf truck would do it, and I said, well, I think it jams up the leaf truck. So Fred's not going to do it either. People have to keep it separated out.
Yes. And I'll get something, and they should know by now, but you know how that goes. So, like I said, I'll be up there tomorrow, especially he's given me a list of these very big piles, and we've got to get some straightening out done there.
I've seen them with my own eyes, Fred.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pat and Fred, I think both of you are being very generous, along with the contractor. We're not in the tree business, and even picking up some of those branches, that's a tree, and you hired somebody to cut it down, you should have that person haul it away and pay for it. And I think that the contractor and you two are being very generous to do part of it. But folks need to understand we are not in the tree business.
No, and that's been a point that's happening more and more. And got to. I'll be out there tomorrow, patrolling that and where these big piles are, meeting with the homeowners.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have to.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
Right.
I had two big trees. Guy could come and they cut the trees up, and I had them stack it behind my house in my yard. I'm going to eventually use more. So I believe that's why they're just having it put at the road. They're saving money and they expect the town to take it. But like Gene says, and we've tried to emphasize this every year, we're not in the tree business. Amen.
Right. Yep.
Okay, we good?
Yep.
Okay, Gene. Thank you, Fred.
Yeah,
Fred?
This
is John. Fred, the village has asked me about the compost agreement. We need to talk, I think, huh? Apparently it expires.
I'm sorry, John. Expires the end of June.
Yeah.
Yes. Right.
Okay. We need to get together on that.
Right. I gave them the new amount, the slight increase, and we just put it together for the new fiscal year for them.
Okay, perfect.
John, I think it expires the end of May.
Well, May 31st.
Okay.
Excuse me. Yeah.
I know they're excited about finishing it up.
Yep. Gotcha. I'll get with you.
Okay. That's it.
Okay, Pat, if someone could text Wayne, I got these numbers to work, so he doesn't have to fool with it any longer.
He's on the screen.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wayne, I got the numbers to work, so you don't need to mess with it any longer.
Okay. Yeah, I think I figured out the one problem too. So, okay.
Yeah. So the one other thing that I have is I had something in my packet that I really don't understand why it's in there, but it says town clerk, then it gives the address of the municipal building, and it says first quarter 2020 tonnage report.
That's out of the dumpsters.
That's the dumpsters?
It's got to be, because that's what Republic does.
We have recycling dumpsters and garbage dumpsters?
No, I assumed that was, they're not doing our garbage contract anymore. I didn't see that, and I just assumed it was the dumps.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a report, and I know they're not, Republic's not doing ours, but I don't understand what it is.
That's a good question. We'll have to ask.
If that's a report for any kind of garbage, I think that belongs to Roberta. I don't know if it got in there incorrectly or what have you, but I know she, because at the end of the year, reports are due in for, what the garbage take is and that.
Yeah, no,
but this is the other company, Fred.
Okay.
I understand that, Fred, but it says Republic Services on there, not Waste Management.
Right. I don't know, but for the single dumpsters, I think that was, I don't know if Republic is supplying them for Waste Management. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to look into that. Good question.
Say, Pat.
Okay, I just let.
Pat.
Yes, sir.
One of the things, if you could ask Roberta to let this company know to use a letterhead when they send it in. I mean, this really isn't a very professional report. but
No.
having a letterhead so we would know who to contact. I mean, there's no phone number, no address for this guy, Jack Strong.
Okay.
He's a strong man.
It would be helpful.
He is with Republic because I recognize his name before we went over to the waste management company with the new contract 5 years ago. We were with Republic previous to that, so I remember his name. So that's right, but I'll ask her no letterhead, and I'll ask her what it is. I'm making notes on the side here. Okay?
Mm-hmm. I'm good, Pat.
Connor. Thanks, Gene. Connor.
I'm going to be super quick tonight. Two things that are more reminders than anything else. One, I was going to stay on longer and speak with Paul earlier today, or perhaps it was yesterday. They're all mixing together at this about the planning and zoning boards perhaps meeting by WebEx, and some other committees have also reached out wanting to meet by WebEx. Could Paul and everyone on the line should know this. Paul's been absolutely incredible since this all began. Is there any way that we could schedule time with him early next week to discuss that?
Sure. Are you on now, Paul?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Paul's on.
I am on, yes.
Sure, there
Okay.
he is, Connor.
There you
It
go.
would probably be good to have the planning coordinator at this.
Yes.
Let me break in here for a second. Connor. Steve Bremer has a really good idea for this involving the community activity center. Steve, you on?
We've been working on that with Rich Migalski. Okay, so we're next week. Rich, I, and Hal, and Rich Schechter, if he's available, are going to go over to the community center and see how we can make it work over there. Rich is pretty confident that we can. So, so we would have regular live meetings there. We apparently have enough room. I haven't seen the room, but we have enough room to distance people, and we can queue them up. So, Connor, we're halfway through this process.
Okay.
The planning board itself, many of the members have expressed an interest in not doing a WebEx.
Good.
So that's why we're going to this alternative. But by the end of next week, I'm sure I can either get you guys a quick report or at the next work session.
Got it. The other question that I had is we were going to schedule time to meet with Ed Leak to go over the parks and grounds management and stuff in the union contract that he should be aware of and sticking with. Is that still on the table?
Yes.
Are you planning that? Okay.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah, I actually just thought of it at the start of this meeting. And then Mr. Bailey, the last thing is a question for you, and if this is something that needs to be answered in executive session, just tell me and I'll ask it there. So I was looking through the town law and the highway law regarding brush pickup, and I can't find anything in there in the actual statute that says that highway has to manage the brush and leaf removal. Is that something that has to be managed by highway under statute, or could that be managed in a similar way that we done parks and grounds?
Okay, and this answer can be an open session.
Okay.
There's nothing that in the state law that requires highway to pick up brush and leaves.
Okay.
There's an oblique reference to highway cutting down weeds in ditches and that sort of thing for drainage purposes. Over the years, those two jobs have sort of developed lives of their own and attached themselves to highway. There's no magic about highway doing it, and there's no requirement that highway does it.
Got it. All right, thank you. I'm all set.
John, I'm just guessing and maybe Fred can chime in, but, you know, during the busy time of the year, the good weather time of the year, highway is busy with drainage and roads and so on and so forth. So we have a brush contract, and then that lasts for 5-6 months, and then highway picks it up afterwards because it's kind of calmed down, and you're not laying asphalt after November and so on and so forth. So I'm guessing that that's probably how that evolved. Would that be close to that, Fred?
Yes, that's exactly how it evolved. Plus, obviously, with us having our own compost site, obviously, then getting into leaves in the fall of the year to get them off the road, if you will, and then get them to the compost. So that's basically the scenario, and that's how that evolved.
Okay.
Got it.
We good?
All right, I'm all set, Pat. Yep.
Okay. Thanks, Connor. John Bailey?
I've got 3 things for executive session, Pat. Real estate sale, and a potential litigation issue, and a potential union issue.
Issue and union. Okay. Union. Okay. Anything for open session, John?
Nope, I'm done.
Okay. And then Steve Bremer.
I got nothing, Pat.
Okay. Thanks, Steve. So at this time, I think I got everybody right. Anybody I missed? I think I went around the table pretty good. Okay. Thank you. So at this time, I'll move. We go into executive session. John Bailey has 3 issues: a real estate issue, a litigation issue, and a union issue. And I have the garbage contract to discuss and the assessor shared services contract that we're discussing to discuss. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and second on the question. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We'll go into executive session with John Bailey and the 3 town board members.